Hi everybody, this is Zena Awesome. This particular video I took at Cedar Monument in Utah. The altitude is over 10,000 feet, and Vandar and I went there several times for camping, and I would go out and walk up here when he was taking a nap. So today I'm going to talk about, well, obviously several different things. The first thing I'm going to touch on is the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. This refers to fruits and veggies and how much pesticide they have on them. What the theory is that if you don't have a lot of money, then you should focus your money on buying organic off of the Dirty 12, the Dirty Dozen, because if you got to pick and choose what you spend the extra money on, you want to get the most bang for your buck. So, and then of course, then they have the Clean 15, which they say you don't need to go organic. So again, you've got money you can save, and I guess I'd say that anything that's not on the two lists is in between, and it's kind of a judgment call. But as far as the Dirty Dozen goes, it's strawberries, spinach, kale, nectarines, apples, grapes, peaches, cherries, pears, tomatoes, celeries, and potatoes. I was a little surprised about the potatoes because I tend to think of a root probably being pretty much okay because, you know, it's in the ground. How much pesticides do they need? But I guess maybe that's what makes them bad, is that they got to keep the stuff out of the ground. I don't know. And then the Clean 15 is avocados, sweet corn, pineapple, onions, papayas, sweet peas. It says frozen. Eggplants, asparagus, cauliflower, cantaloupe, broccoli, mushrooms, cabbage, honeydew melon, and kiwi. Yeah, I know that technically speaking, from what I've read about mushrooms, is you're not even supposed to wash mushrooms. You're actually supposed to use like a mushroom brush and just dust them off, which is kind of weird too, since other people have been handling them and stuff. But obviously, if I'm going to be doing a lot of juicing and smoothies and moving to a liquid diet, I need to know these so I know where I need to spend the money to buy the better quality stuff. Because obviously the whole point of me doing this is to get healthier and help my body hopefully get better from where it's at, versus, of course, adding a bunch of pesticides. Now, going to a liquid diet sounds really extreme, and some people might even consider it, I'm going to say, impossible. But, you know, I've been having these problems for a while, and back before Vandar got diagnosed with brain cancer, so this was over 3 years ago, probably now 4 years ago, that I was working to try to find maybe a surgical solution, or I was trying to seek possibilities of solutions through the doctor. And they sent me to the nutritionist, and the nutritionist wanted me to do 6 weeks of a liquid diet. So they gave me something, it was Glycerna, something similar to Ensure, but because I have reactive hypoglycemia, they wanted to be sure they gave me something that wouldn't cause a spike in my blood sugar, because when my blood sugar goes up and then it drops. So Glycerna is usually for diabetics, so at least they did give it to me for free to follow, and I was supposed to drink, you know, 6 to 8 of those a day, which of course wasn't a full calorie count, and it even said right on the can, not for a sustained diet, that it's not nutritionally complete. But I think part of what the nutritionist wanted me to do is to see if really being on a liquid diet was something that I really was interested in. And I have to tell you that I actually found it pretty positive, other than the Glycerna really didn't agree with me. What the liquid diet did for me is it kind of cut out the peaks, the peak of feeling really bad and the peak of feeling really good. It kind of left me in the middle ground of bleh, but not really sick and not really good. So it was tolerable, but obviously not where I want to sit at for the rest of my life. And of course, because each can only had 200 calories, you know, if I was only drinking 6 or 7 cans, that's only 1,400 calories. That's not enough really to sustain me at any level of activity. And it just got harder and harder and harder to drink. And now, if I smell, just even smell a protein drink like that, that tends to make me start burping, and ugh, it just turns my stomach. But what I did find is that I didn't miss food. You know, you could go, well, didn't you miss the steak, or didn't you miss the french fries, or did you? And I have to say, no, I was really surprised that I didn't, because I thought I would. The other thing, you know, is when you're really doing a liquid diet, another surprising thing is that your teeth get really, really dirty, that the film builds up really fast, because apparently chewing actually knocks a lot of the film off your teeth. So you find you want to brush your teeth more on a liquid diet than a non-liquid diet. But I just wanted to point out, I've actually been there, done that, and, you know, as a liquid diet, and it was fine. So I'm not worried about the liquid, the not having solid foods to eat as being a particular challenge. That for me probably won't be. I know a lot of people it would be, but it won't be for me. Another thing I was doing today is, you know, I'm listening to the Food Revolution Summit, and it was supposed to be about helping immune response, you know, reversing inflammatory conditions, which I may have some inflammatory conditions. That's irritable bowel syndrome is an inflammatory condition type thing, but I also, of course, have short bowel syndrome, but I shouldn't, because I have too much bowel for it to be short, but I have all the symptoms. So I figure I do have ulcerative colitis, which is an autoimmune problem with the colon. They haven't found anything in particular that causes it, you know, any particular foods, or there's nothing that particularly says that. They don't know why. You know, that basically what happens is your body attacks the wall of your colon, and of course causes sores that bleed and blah blah blah. And eventually, if you have it severe enough, then they end up having to take a piece of your colon out, or however much is affected, and put you on a colostomy bag. Now, fortunately, mine was very, very minor, and stress is one of the things that can make it flare. So I do believe that my recent visit to the hospital during this particular time, you know, I was just in the hospital at the beginning of April, that kind of caused a flare, and I noticed it when I was in the hospital. So I did use the medicine for 2 weeks. It's a suppository. It's basically like, if you think of an anti-inflammatory topical, but you got to obviously put it inside for it to do its thing. So it's a suppository. But it works very well for me. So it's something I manage very well, but I know I have problems. So one of the speakers really works with people that have lupus and I believe MS. And I printed out one of her sheets for, it says nourishing healing protocol for lupus recovery. So although I may not follow this specifically, but basically it's a 4-week program where they say no animal products, no processed foods, and no added oils. Well, that's actually kind of already what I was planning on doing. But this gives me I might cook some of my stuff, because this is all raw vegetables, fruits, greens, seeds, nuts, at least 64 ounces of green smoothie a day, high water, 96 ounces to a max of 120 ounces a day, and high omega-3s, at least a quarter cup of flaxseed or chia a day. So this gives me some good guidance as far as like how much flaxseed and chia seed I might want to be getting into without theoretically overdoing it. Now, I know when my husband was sick, we did make a green smoothie and a berry smoothie that we did a lot of the time and drank those every day like medicine. And I tried the chia seeds in the green smoothie, and I thought the chia seeds just made it absolutely disgusting, because they kind of tend to, well, I'm going to say slimify it. They have, when you put them in moisture, they they get this really snotty consistency that's just really gross. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle chia seeds. But when I was on another thing yesterday, it talked about chia seeds being one of the few natural foods that is actually a complete protein. So I could see where that actually would be really good in my diet, but I'm not too sure how well I'm going to handle that. And she was also the one that talked about why willpower. Okay, willpower doesn't work. You know, someone at the birthday party offers you a piece of cake and ice cream, and you know you can say no, or you drive by the fast food restaurant and you can say no for a while, but eventually you give in, and that's willpower. What she said works, which I really, really loved, is why power. In other words, why am I doing this? Which I had, as I've said on some of these already, is like with my exercising. I am doing this for my bones because, you know, I'm not supposed to lift more than 30 pounds. I'm not supposed to ride horses. I'm not supposed to get up on ladders. I'm not supposed to put myself in any situation where I could fall because I am 16 times more likely to break a hip with a T-score of minus 3.9. So that is always in my mind, and I want to get past that. I want to have strong bones. I want to be active. I want to go horseback riding. I want to be able to do a lot of things. And so the why power is what gives you motivation. Someone waves a hamburger at me and I'm like, oh, so I could have that and, you know, maybe have to sit in a wheelchair because I broke my hip and it won't heal right. It's not worth it. So I really, really liked that saying, and I'm definitely going to post that around, that why power works. Why are you doing it? Give yourself motivation all the time. This is Zena Awesome. I hope you have a great day. Thank you very much.